Hey, what's up guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Lord of the Red Lair of Darkness deck profile. So this is a really cool deck that actually plays Lord of the Red and the Lair of Darkness archetype fused into one really cool deck that actually works surprisingly well, because you can actually use the ritual spells to tribute monsters, which benefits with Lair of Darkness, giving you tokens during the end phase of every single turn, and Lair of Darkness is a mandatory effect at the end of the turn, which will trigger your Lord of the Red. So it kind of like keeps flipping back and forth between the two cards, which is really, really cool. And it's also Joey Wheeler in a suit of Red Eyes Black Dragon, which is insanely cool from one of my favorite times in Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is during the Seal of Orichalcos arc, which was like the coolest arc besides Battle City, which I just love the Seal of Orichalcos, as you guys have seen from my particular playmat. But without further ado, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below, where you can get some really cool rewards, like getting your name searched from every single video, getting a signed card in the mail, or even getting to request a deck profile every single month that you're a patron, along with test hands. So, without further ado, let's get into this deck profile. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Lord of the Red. So this card's a really neat card that you can ritual summon this card with not with Lord of the Red, but with a Red Eyes Transmigration. And then if this card, during either player's turn, once per turn during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated, except Lord of the Red, you can target a monster on the field and destroy it. And then it also has the ability that once per turn during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated, you can target a spell or trap on the field and destroy it. So basically, it can activate twice per turn, it can destroy a spell or trap, and then it can destroy a monster. But it can't destroy 2 spells, and it can't destroy 2 monsters. It has to destroy a spell or a monster. Like, it has to destroy 1 of each, which is kind of cool to be able to pop multiple cards per turn, and that it works with our copy of the Lair of Darkness. We then play 2 copies of Paladin of Dark Dragon. Paladin of Dark Dragon is pretty cool because it can special summon out of your deck a copy of your Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, which is kind of cool because you can just tribute this card to be able to special summon it directly from your deck, and it basically helps us search it, and plus it helps out a lot with using cards like your copy of the Dark Dragon Ritual to be able to banish that card to search Red Eyes cards from their deck to your hand, which is really kind of cool. I used to play this in my Red Eyes Black Dragon deck a long time ago. We then play a single copy of Incantation Chalice Slime. Chalice Slime just helps us with our incantation monsters a lot, to be able to reveal this card, discard a card, and then special summon an incantation from the deck to be able to get a particular play off. You don't use the incantations like all the time in this deck, but they are kind of like a supporting role in the deck. We then play a single copy of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, which has now been errated to where you can only use its effect once per turn by name, which is still pretty good because you can just special summon this card off your copy of Paladin of Dark Dragon. But it's a really easy summon to be able to get on your side of the field, and then it can just revive the Paladin of Dark Dragon back from the graveyard, so it's kind of like a freebie on your side of the field with your copy of your Paladin. We then play a single copy of Darkus Diabolos, Lord of the Lair. If a card is tributed, then you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard, and then once per turn, you can tribute 1 dark monster, and then place 1 card from your opponent's hand on their top of their deck, which is pretty cool. But you can only activate either effect once per turn. This card can also not be tributed by your opponent's card effects, which is a really cool card, and you can use it to tribute summon your Lord of the Red, because Lord of the Red is a level 8 monster. We then play 3 copies of Arima, the Wicked Warden. Arima is pretty good because you can discard it to add your copy of your Lair of Darkness from your deck to your hand. We play 2 copies of Talismandra. We play 2 copies of Talismandra. You reveal a ritual monster, then you special summon this card from your hand and an incantation from your deck, and if this card is special summoned by the effect of an incantation, you get to add a ritual monster from your deck. You do play the 2 copies of Kandal as well, which has the same exact effect except for ritual spells, where you have to reveal a ritual spell to special summon this, and if it's special summoned off the effect of an incantation, then you get to add a ritual spell from deck to hand. We play a single copy of Bookstone, which lets you reveal a ritual spell, but you add it from the graveyard this time if it's special summoned off an incantation monster. 1 copy of Pencil Plume, which does the exact same thing as the copy of Bookstone, except with monsters. We play 3 copies of Zaborg, the Mega Monarch. This card is really easy to summon in this deck, because what you're going to do with this card is you're basically playing multiple level 8 monsters to go into Lord of the Red, and it also has the ability that you can tribute 2 monsters on your side of the field to summon this card like a regular tribute summon, and when you summon it, you can pop it, and then pick 8 cards in your extra deck and 8 cards in your opponent's extra deck and send them to the graveyard, which will trigger copies like Herald of the Arclight, Elder Entity Nist, or Fossil Warrior Skull Knight, all sorts of different cards that are in our extra deck, and then it'll just rip our opponent's extra deck for all sorts of stuff that we just don't want to have to deal with. So this card is really, really, really nice in the deck, and it'll give you 2 tokens as well. If you don't top deck this to begin with and you get Lair of Darkness and you get 2 tokens on your side of the field, you can just use the tokens to summon this card, which is pretty good. Or you can use the incantation monsters to summon this card, or Darkest Diabolos, or whatever you feel like you need. And basically, when you tribute summon this card, you're going to get 3 pops on the field and 3 searches of ritual monsters and ritual spells, which is really, really, really good. We then play a single copy of Dark Magician and Red Eyes Black Dragon to go into Red Eyes Black Dragoon, or Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. It's a really, really awesome card, and it's really easy to summon in this deck too. The only thing that you have to kind of watch out for is your incantation monsters lock you out of your extra deck, so you kind of have to be a little bit careful of that, but other than that, it still works. So without further, let's get into the spells, guys. So for the spells, we are going to be playing 3 copies of Lair of Darkness. Basically, Lair of Darkness makes everything a dark monster on the field, which is pretty cool. I like that ability, and it also, for every monster tributed on the player's turn, they get a token during the end phase, but this is a mandatory activation. So if you activate this card effect during the end phase, then Lord of the Red will get to pop an additional card, which is pretty cool as well. And all the tokens are a level 3, 1000, and it's just, you just get monsters. Like if I tribute 3 on my turn, I get 3 tokens, or 3 monsters on my turn. Or if I ritual summon, I get a token during my end phase. If you tribute on your turn, then you get 2 tokens, or you get a token. If you tribute twice, you get 2, 3, 4, however many times you tribute. Even if I tribute on your turn, you get tokens, which is something to keep in mind. We then play for the ritual spells. We're playing a single copy of Incantation Inception. This basically just ritual summons any monster, which is pretty good. It's a good ritual spell just to have as an extra one. We play 2 copies, or 3 copies of Red Eyes Transmigration. This card just is ritual summoning your Lord of the Red, which is the big card that you're going to be summoning in the entire deck. 2 copies of Dark Dragon Ritual. Dark Dragon Ritual is a really good card in this deck. You're actually going to use this to summon your Paladin of Dark Dragon, and except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish it to add a Red Eye spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which if you can't make your Anaconda, you can just search out a copy of Red Eyes Fusion from your deck to immediately summon it to your side of the field. I mean, it's just super easy to grab your Red Eyes Fusion. We then play 3 copies of Pre-Preparation of Right. Pre-Preparation of Right searches out our Paladin of Dark Dragon, and it also searches out our copy of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. So it's a really, really, really easy card to summon in the deck, and it's super, super good to be able to put on your side of the field. It's an overall amazing card just overall to grab, like your Lord of the Red in Transmigration, or Paladin of Dark Dragon, and a copy of the Dark Dragon Ritual. It's just really easy to summon. We then play 2 copies of Pre-Prep of Rights. Pre-Prep of Rights lets us add our copies of our particular level 7 or lower ritual monsters from our deck to our hand, which is always going to be our Paladin of Dark Dragon. So it's really easy to just resolve this card and grab Paladin of Dark Dragon from deck to hand, and then add a copy of a ritual spell from our graveyard to our hand. Or if we just need to get that monster from our deck to our hand, we can just grab whatever we need, like the ritual spell from the graveyard. We then play a single copy of Red Eyes Fusion. Red Eyes Fusion is really, really, really good in this deck because you just use it with Anaconda, or you use it with searching it off your copy of your Dark Dragon Ritual. It's really, really easy to resolve this card. You just can't normal summon or special summon the turn you activate this effect. So it's really a good card to just top deck because you can go into your copy of your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, which is really nice to be able to just get it out on your side of the field as quickly as possible. With this card, and with our next card, you can actually summon 2 of them in this particular deck, which is really nice, which is going to be a second copy of a fusion spell, which is a Magicalized Fusion. Magicalized Fusion is really good in this deck because all you have to do with Magicalized Fusion is already resolve the Red Eyes Fusion, and since your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon is a spellcaster type monster, you can activate this and then summon out this card once you have your 2 copies of your Red Eyes Black Dragon and your copy of your Dark Magician in the graveyard. Or if you just have a Dark Dragon monster that's a high level Dark Dragon monster in your graveyard, you can resolve this card as well, which is pretty pretty good. I mean, it's really, really easy to resolve. All you really have to do is get your Dark Magician in the graveyard and then any other Dark Dragon in the graveyard, and you can resolve it. And it banishes those cards from the graveyard to summon your Dragoon. And for the last 3 cards of the main deck, we're playing 3 copies of Super Polymerization. I always think that Super Polymerization and Lair of Darkness combo like bread and butter, because you can resolve this and summon, since it makes everything dark, it makes your copies of Starving Venom really easy to summon, and your your Predaplant that takes 3 monsters easy to summon, which has been a while since I included in a deck, but it's super, super easy to be able to just use the Super Polymerization to go into the particular monster that you need for the turn, which I usually go into Starving Venom. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing a single copy of Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, which gets really big and can be easily summoned with Super Polymerization. We play a single copy of the Predaplant Fusion Monster, which is, again, you're just using 3 monsters on your opponent's side of the field to summon this card. With Super Polymerization, it's just to get rid of 3 monsters is the big reason I play this. One copy of Mud Dragon. Mud Dragon is really good because 2 monsters with the same attribute, but different types. Sometimes if you don't have Lair of Darkness, you'll use this against your opponent and summon this card instead of summoning out your Starving Venom, just in case you don't have the particular like Lair of Darkness on your side of the field. This is just a backup to make sure that your Super Poly is not dead. We then play 2 copies of Red Eye's Dark Dragoon. This card is ridiculously easy to summon in this deck. All you have to do is get, you have ways to search your copy of Red Eye's Fusion. You have really easy ways to link summon into your copy of Anaconda. This card is just ridiculously easy to go into, and getting multiple pops against your opponent is really nice, and Walking Negation is amazing. This card's probably the best card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. We play a single copy of Appaloosa. Appaloosa is really easy to summon in this deck too, with IP Masquerena. Masquerena and Appaloosa are another combo that go together like bread and butter. It makes it so you have more negations with this, and then this card prevents it from being destroyed by opponent's card effects, which is super nice. And then Anaconda, because if you can end on like an Anaconda and an IP and a Dragoons, then during your opponent's turn you can link these 2 away to summon your Appaloosa, and then have 3 negates on your side of the field with the Appaloosa and the Red Eye's Dark Dragoon. We then play, for the cards that we're going to be usually sending from deck to graveyard off the copy of our Zaborg, we've got 3 copies of Herald of the Arclight. Herald of the Arclight, when it touches the graveyard, you get to search a ritual spell or a ritual monster. And then we play 3 copies of Elder Entity Nist, which is insanely good in this deck too. When it touches the graveyard, you get to target a card on the field and destroy it. So you get 3 pops, and then you get 3 searches, which is what I was talking about with Zaborg. And then you play a single copy of Fossil Warrior Skull Knight, which has the ability that you can activate this effect. It has the ability that you can banish this card from your graveyard, target a monster on the field, and destroy it. So you essentially get 4 pops, but this card kind of lingers around that you can resolve it later if you want to resolve it later, which is pretty cool. So that's it for the Lair of Darkness Lord of the Red deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed this really creative deck. It's really different and something that I've wanted to build for a while. I've wanted to build a deck based around Lord of the Red for a long time because I love all things Red Eyes Black Dragon, but I wanted to build it really well, and so I've kind of held off on building this one. But it's a super fun deck, and it's really, really effective to be able to play against your opponent, and it's just awesome to actually be able to summon Lord of the Red. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come part of our notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below so you guys can get all those awesome rewards, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.